This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Wednesday, May 28th. I'm Anne-Sophie Goninet.
And I'm Jacob Shropshire. It's a sunny afternoon in Sri Lanka while Richmond, Virginia is waking up to rain. Here in the Worldcrunch newsroom in Paris, it's cloudy and just after midday. These are the latest headlines. Trump threatens new sanctions on Russia. The UN issues a grim climate report. And our More Than a Minute feature takes a look at the French thinker shaping the White House inner circle. The top story today takes us back to Gaza, where 3 people were killed and 47 were injured after thousands of Palestinians stormed an aid distribution site set up by the U.S. and Israel. The facility was in its first day of giving out aid in the enclave after months of a blockade. Gaza faces what the UN has described as a critical risk of famine. The compound in the southern city of Rafah is being run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which uses armed American security contractors. The UN accuses this group of trying to circumvent existing international humanitarian organizations and weaponizing aid. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to impose new sanctions on Russia as talks to end the war in Ukraine have stalled. Russia is amassing more than 50,000 troops along the border of Ukraine for what Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says will be a renewed offensive to take his country's northeastern Sumy region. Reuters is reporting that Moscow is demanding a pledge to end NATO expansion as a condition to halt the war. In other Trump administration news, the White House has halted the scheduling of appointments for student visa applicants as it plans to scale up social media surveillance of foreign students. The move comes amid an escalating fight between the White House and Harvard University, which refused to comply with administration demands, citing threats to free speech and academic freedom. A UN report says that global temperatures will likely reach more than 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming from 2025 to 2029, remaining at historically high temperatures after the hottest decade on record. The 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold is one that activists have pointed to as a critical tipping point for significant parts of the natural world, and scientists are increasingly saying it will be impossible to avoid it going higher. Our More Than a Minute features today puts the spotlight on the fascination for a certain French anthropologist named René Girard among prominent leaders of the political right in the United States. Vice President J.D. Vance even cites Girard among thinkers who led him to convert to Catholicism. Anne-Sophie, can you tell us more about this French-born intellectual and how his ideas are influencing American conservatism?
René Girard, born in Avignon, France, spent his entire adult life in the United States. The longtime Stanford professor died in 2015, but his influence has perhaps never been greater, writes Martin Bernier in French daily Le Figaro. Billionaire Peter Thiel, a supporter of Donald Trump and a leading figure in American national conservatism, claims his intellectual legacy. Thiel met Girard when he was a Stanford student in the late 1980s, and later dedicated part of his fortune to promoting the French thinker's work. What captivated Thiel was the anthropologist mimetic theory of desire. For Girard, human desires are not inherent to individuals. They are based on imitation. Mimetic desire, Girard wrote, is a constant of human nature. It is both a source of violence, as people fight over the same things, and a driver of the evolution of human wants.
What kinds of lessons do a technology investor like Thiel draw from this theory?
Some see the billionaire's early funding of Facebook as a cynical application of mimetic theory, Bernier writes. Social media creates global competition and replicates desire on a mass scale. It's a business model that taps into a basic mechanism of human anthropology, as understood by Girard. But Thiel has applied the French thinker's ideas to all aspects of life. He believes Girard is one of the great philosophers of the 20th century, and even shared his teachings with current Vice President J.D. Vance. Thanks to the French anthropologist, Vance says he found a way to reconcile faith and reason, leading him to convert to Catholicism.
How does Girard's theory translate into politics?
That's where it gets trickier. Le Figaro says that in many ways, Girardian thought is more suited to conservatives than progressives, but the complexity and subtlety of the thinker's theories are far removed from the brutality of Trump. and Girard never moved in American conservative political circles. For his great-niece Marie Girard, the thinker's work can't be reduced to a political reading. She says, "It's like applying the gospel to politics. People have been trying for 2,000 years, and no one has succeeded."
We're closing things out today with our daily quiz question, which comes to us from Japan. The country's prime minister is doing what to reassure the public that radioactive decontamination work near Fukushima has been effective? Is it A, using radioactive soil in flower beds at his office? B, spending the night at a nearby hotel? C, making tea using water from the reactor? Or D, inviting world leaders to vacation near the meltdown site? The correct answer is A. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's office said it would be using slightly radioactive soil from Fukushima, the site of a 2011 nuclear disaster caused by an earthquake and tsunami in the region, to plant flowers. The use of the soil, which has been in storage after being removed from the site after the accident, is meant to show that it's safe to reuse.
That's the latest from around the world. If you like this podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here tomorrow. À demain!